next speaker is very deserving of a standing ovation as well, because here's a brave woman from China, Dr. Li Ming Yan. Medical doctor, PhD virologist, with first-hand knowledge about the true nature of the virus, as well as the CCP's, the Chinese Communist Party's deceptive methods used to disguise their international bioweapons research. She's here to tell us what really happened. Dr. Li Ming Yan.
Hi everyone, it's my honor to be invited by the Nevada governor candidate Dr. Fred Simon to Las Vegas, and also meet with my good friends Dr. Peter McConnell and Dr. Urso, Dr. Ranko, Dr. Hesser, all together to help you understand what is happening since 2 years ago. So my topic today is the origin of COVID-19, mandate and communism, the truth you must know. So first, let me give you a brief introduction about my education background. And I was educated at 2 top medical universities in mainland China. I obtained my medical doctorate degree from Central South University and also later on the PhD in ophthalmology from the Southern Medical University. Then I moved to the University of Hong Kong. I became a virologist and also an immunologist in the WHO reference lab at the University of Hong Kong for over 5 years. So my specialties including emergency infectious disease and vaccine development. And I also have a patent of the flu universal vaccine pending in America. Since April 2020 until now, my identity is changed. Now I am an independent coronavirus expert and also commentator and also activist in America. So here are some photos happening in Hong Kong with my lab mates and with the China CDC director, George Fugao. All these people actually involved in the pandemic, the bosses. So my story, actually maybe many of you have already heard, started from January 2020 and to be honest, 31st December 2019, the last day of 2019, the very beginning of Wuhan outbreak. So it happened, and then the day my boss, the WHO expert, Dr. Liu Peng, gave me the confidential task that asked me to do the research about the investigation happened in Wuhan about the outbreak and on behalf of the WHO lab, because my lab as a reference lab, they had the responsibility to report all this kind of emerging infectious disease to WHO and urge them to do the actions within 24 hours. That's our duty. So I also was warned from the beginning repeatedly that keep silent, don't cross the red line. If not, you will be disappeared. So all the things start from that time. I went through my personal network in mainland China, and it can reach to China CDC headquarters office and also to local people in Wuhan. So the things I obtained from that time, and also I keep investigating and combine with my expertise, later on become the facts, shocked me. The fact is, WHO do nothing even when they know my report. They get the timely feedback at that time, but no, keep in silence, and also help Chinese Communist Party. They are compromised. So what happened is, after that, until mid-January, things become worse. And when I second time was put into the investigation in the middle January to find out the animal host in Wuhan, at that time, more things come out. And when I see their response, when I know what happened, the choice is either I keep silent with them, or I must do something by myself. So that's what happened. I managed to contact the person I think I should trust, and the only choice at the time for me, Mr. Luder, the anti-CCP, very influential YouTuber based in America, because I'm his audience. I thought at that time, if I can contact him to deliver the message out, then that would be only opportunity for me to let people know what happened, and also trigger the Chinese government, Xi Jinping's office, to give them pressure to change what has happened. And luckily, I managed to do that. And Mr. Luder is now today's here. He's the one over there taking the video by his phone. Yes. So he's a person I spent 2 days after that to explain what happened, to convince. And also later on, from January 19th, 2020, from his daily YouTube broadcast, Luder Media, he delivered the 5 messages out to the audience and also triggered the Xi Jinping's regime immediately and pushed them to change, to postpone their strategies and to reduce the loss in the pandemic. The 5 messages I show today is, first, Chinese Communist Party government actively cover up the truth and the disease. And just within 4 hours of that broadcast, CCP admitted the case number from 62 to 198 is triple. And then later on soon, they admit that cases happened in the other cities, not only Wuhan. The second thing is, there was human-to-human transmission. They knew it. They knew it from even December 2019. But they don't want to admit it. And within 24 hours, they have to admit it as the first time. And also, the third one is, there was no animal host. There was no civet cat, no raccoon dogs. We don't eat bat soups. And the seafood market actually is just a smoke screen. So what happened is, until now, all the animals are innocent. And frankly, the only intermediate host from the virus in the lab to human is Chinese Communist Party. And what is the fourth one is, if you don't control it in time, and there will be outbreak, larger outbreak, and even pandemic soon. At that time, we will face 3 endless variants. And these are all verified now. And after 3 days, Wuhan lockdown. The last thing is the most important thing. That's the real reason that makes Chinese Communist Party nervous. And that's the real confidential things in this whole pandemic. Even now they try to cover it up. That is, this virus is actually the gain of function product, is a weaponized product from the Chinese military labs. And the backbone they used to do this all modification to target human are the bad coronavirus obtained and only owned by People's Liberation Army scientists. They name it as ZC45 and also the twin strain ZXC21. So the scientific misinformation campaign internationally immediately worked right after I review all these things. That's why within 24 hours, the Wuhan Institute of Virology-backed woman Shi Zhenli has to submit her paper claims they had something called RATG13 from West China to distract your attention from People's Liberation Army. And also that's why Peter Daszak, Fauci, they start to work. They won't tell all the scientists with them that this is from nature. And also, that's how People's Liberation Army's network also works. They take over Wuhan lab after that. All of this. So I spent another 3 months in Hong Kong until I escaped. During that time, I kept investigating these things and kept delivering the message to Mr. Lude and to the audience, and also receive feedback from Xi Jinping's regime. During that time, I have published 2 highly recommended papers using the data I obtained from China or I did in my lab. One is about the viral dynamics. This is basically give people the understanding that how to see whether people can get a mild or severe case in the early time, published in Lancet Infectious Disease. And the other one is the Nature paper I had, which is the first time proved that the right animal model about the high transmissibility of COVID-19 is hamster. And that is something very important because this was published in May 2020. Before that, the CCP scientists didn't know how to see the right transmissibility from the virus in the lab. That's why they underestimate the transmissibility. And that's why when they conduct their trials using Wuhan citizens in Wuhan at that time, outbreak happened out of control because of their mistake. And these are the things just let you have the brave understanding that since I managed to escape from Hong Kong at that time, after that, I can tell people all the things by myself in America. And these are just some of the media that collaborate with me to help people to know the truth. And I really appreciate all these people because without this effort, we cannot make majority of people realize that this virus is not from nature. Remember, even when I start to talk about it on Fox News in July 2020, that's the first time I appear in public, I tell people that WHO is corrupted with Chinese Communist Party to cover it up. It was a bombshell. And now you all know that. From September 2020 to March 2021, I worked with my team, my scientists in Yin Research to publish 3 non-peer review articles on Zenodo. The 3 Yin reports has already reached to over millions of views. And in these 3 reports, we have built all the things here using smoke gun evidence. The smoking gun evidence in scientific way to tell you from the beginning why you can say this is from the lab. Because of the unusual features in the genome of this virus, it's like the fingerprint of human. You can see what happened when there is something wrong. And who has done that? They leave their evidence inside. It's like your grandma's special recipe to make some cake, and later on you say this is a cake, and you taste, you know immediately this is from your grandma. It's like that. And also how they did that. We reconstruct the whole protocol to tell people in the lab how could they do that. And these are not only assumptions, these are based on the publications they have published over decades to tell people one step by step by step. It's like build a hotel. You know they can make the table, you know they can make the ground, you know they can build the ceiling. They publish it all over the world in the scientific journals. These are the evidence. No one can change it. And I tell people, why they don't let you know that? You can't know that because there is scientific misinformation campaign working with them, leading by WHO, by Fauci, by Peter Daszak, by Ralph Barry, by a lot of scientists. You thought they are reputational, but they are compromised. They are compromised by Chinese Communist Party. They are the replaceable tools for Communist Party in this unrestricted bioweapon program. And I tell people this is not only gain-of-function products, it is weaponized. It is not traditional bioweapon. However, it is unrestricted bioweapon, and I defend it. I will explain to you in the next slides. And after that, I also revealed that so-called novel animal virus, all these scientists claim are the ancestors for the SARS-CoV-2 are fabricated. And this can be examined from genome, also with other circumstantial evidence. All the things are very clear, crystal clear. And after that, CCP and Fauci's allies launched crazy attacks against me and my reports. So many scientific titans come out from Johns Hopkins, from Harvard, from Maryland University, Titan Robert Gallo in HIV, and Fauci, these people. It's okay. Let's talk in scientific way. So they cannot use any scientific evidence to refute me. Instead, they have to even twist my word in the article. They have to create the rooms to fulfill their false claim. So that's easy. I published the third one. I refute their so-called peer-reviewed points, and I told people, if you can read in English, if you have brain, you have logic thinking, you know who's right, who's wrong. And point to point, I published my third report, almost 70 pages, and also with some verified facts at that time, like how these people plan together to publish the letter support China, to claim lab origin is conspiracy, all together. So, okay. Let's talk about a little bit more about unrestricted bioweapon. What is unrestricted bioweapon? It's unrestricted because it's weaponized pathogen, plus misinformation, propaganda, and censorship. You didn't say it before, but now you say the classic example is COVID-19. When it just come out, even many of you will feel suspicious whether it's weaponized from the lab. But with misinformation, with propaganda, with censorship, this one can be covered for long. So during this time, it earned the time for Chinese Communist Party. They gained the opportunity to make your medical facility paralyzed, to make your economic going down, to undermine your social structures, and also to shake your face to your constitution, government, civilization. Altogether, that are the goals Chinese Communist Party won. And let me explain it further. This is something I never talked in the COVID summit because it happened something recently. I want to emphasize to people. After 2 years of COVID, Chinese Communist Party believes they win the COVID. So they are going to do more things. Because many of you are now very suspicious that whether this is bioweapon, if it's bioweapon, why our American government do nothing, and what exactly happened. So this also offers Chinese Communist Party more room to create more propaganda and also combine with their next step of the unrestricted bio attacks. These are the main scenarios I list here from Chinese Communist Party and also Russia. When they are together, they already launched them on social media and mainstream media. They want to blame America. That means they want to blame all of you together about bioweapon. So that includes, they claim that COVID-19 was a bioweapon released in Wuhan during the military games in October. Wrong. They also claim that hemorrhagic fever caused by Ebola is spread by the mad monkeys.